You could spend thousands making music between getting keyboards, guitars, a DAW where you record the music like Ableton or Logic, which are a couple $100 each. You have to get effects. You could even book studio time, and these all really add up. But Suno is changing this. What's up? I'm Oliver, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to make music using AI. Suno recently released Suno Studio. Suno Studio allows you to interact with the music that you're making with AI like never before. For producers, this will allow you to speed up the ideation phase, come up with more ideas for your songs, and for non-musicians, this will allow you to do what you've never been able to do before. You can now make your own tracks without any previous knowledge. Suno Studio is a huge step in AI music creation. You can now edit down to the instrument each of your songs, making them more personalized. So let's get into it. Here I'm on the Suno homepage. You can see a bunch of different songs from the community, but here I want to go to Studio. Suno Studio has 4 different sections. First up is Create. This is where you can prompt your different songs, add lyrics, and even more options. Here is your workspace or library. This is where you can organize your tracks or different ideas. This is your timeline or multi-track editor. This is really typical on every single DAW that I've worked on, which previously wasn't available in Suno. This allows you to get nitty-gritty within every instrument on your song, removing some sections, adding new ones, which we'll get into more. And this is the details section. Nothing's showing up here yet. We'll get into it in a little bit. In order to get Suno Studio, you have to be on the Premier plan. It's $30 a month, and honestly, I feel like it's totally worth it. I've gone through around 1,200 credits so far, and I've made around like 30 to 50 songs. That's more than enough. I don't think I'll ever get through the 10,000 in a month. So let's create a track. First, I'll head over to ChatGPT and have it create a prompt for Suno that's in the style of Chris Stussy, an EDM artist I like, and I'll be sure to ask it to include some vocals. So once it helps me create the prompt, I'll bring this back into Suno. I'll put the style in the styles column and the lyrics where the lyrics should go. And I don't love these lyrics, so I can change them in here. So once I get the lyrics how I like them, I'll click Create. Suno always creates 2 different options for you to choose between for every prompt. Let's listen to them and choose one.
Moving slow.
I definitely like the second one more. I think that the vocal chops are really cool and I'm excited to mess around with them. So now I'll bring the track into the timeline. The first thing I like to do is select the track and then extract the stems over here on the right. This will allow me to listen to each instrument individually so I can mess around with them. Once it's done loading the tracks, I can hit Insert All. Now you can see each track is separated by the instrument. You can see synth, percussion, keyboard. Let's give each one a listen. Here's a keyboard. Let's listen to the backing vocals. Let's check out the drums. Now the bass. The vocals.
Under the night, feel the groove. No need to try.
It sounds great. I did like the drums from the other track though. Let's give it a listen.
Feel the groove.
I kind of like the hat and snare that they have in the drums on this one. So we can actually click Extract Stems over here. And we can bring the drums of the other track into ours. So let's hear them soloed. So yeah, I like this part. So we can delete the other parts that we weren't looking for. And you can see something great about Suno is that it loaded in on grid directly at the same BPM. So now let's try putting this drum section right at the beginning. I love that at the intro. Could be great to bring back in these drums once the verse starts and get rid of the drums that are originally in this track. Let's try it out.
Moving slow under the night. Feel the groove. No need. Moving slow under the night. Feel the groove. No
I kind of love that as a transition for the verse.
It's just you and
I love this section here that repeats. So now we can even try and duplicate it using Command D so it can kind of stay on for the little bit of a drop. Let's check it out. The track's pretty short, so let's try and make it a little bit longer. I'll grab the keyboard from the beginning of the song and drag it in right at the end. I just used Command and then dragged so it copied. And now I'll grab the drums from the beginning of the song, as well as the bass from this section. Let's see what that sounds like. The great thing about this tool is as a producer, it comes really naturally. A lot of the features, a lot of the quick strokes are really similar, but it's also not too difficult if you've never even seen this type of software. It seems a little empty. Maybe we can grab this synth. Let's listen to it. I think this adds a great kind of airy section that we can bring into the new part. Now this kind of creates some tension. So now let's bring back in kind of that drop. So I'll just literally just copy and paste right here. Boom. Let's listen to what this sounds like. So it still looks like we're missing some of the buildup. So let's see what we can do. Let's bring in these little keyboard and bass notes, plop them in here. That was just Command Z. Let's hear what that sounds like. Let's bring this section back over here. I love this part. Let's see what this would sound like at the beginning. This works great right after the drop. And then we'll kind of just let the song go from here, and then we'll finish it off. But I still feel like this section right here is a little empty. Let's see what we can add. One thing I've been experimenting with a little is singing your own parts. Let's try it. So what you want to do is solo the original track, which has everything in it. And then you want to go and add a new track right here, and it'll show up right below it. And then you want to enable recording. You want to select whatever input you're using. So here I'm using the Shure MV7, and then I'll enable record right here. And then once you click record here, it'll start recording whatever is coming through your mic. So what I want to do is I want to add a little guitar section to this spot right here. So using this track, let's kind of see what that would sound like. Let's also turn on the metronome so we can stay on beat. So now that we have that recorded, let's listen back. I suspect that the timing might be a little off. So we'll just drag it over a little. I think that sounds pretty good. So now we'll select this whole section and even a little room on the ends. We'll drag this section in to remix, and then we'll kind of just remind Suno what style we're working with. What are the beats per minute? And like, what are we looking for? We're looking for a solo guitar. So let's click create. So I clicked it twice, so it gave me 4 options. Let's listen through them. So it's still a pretty similar style. So this is kind of the solo, but it's a piano. That's cool. But it's not guitar, so let's see if it got guitar. There we go. That's cool. That feels like it's exactly what I was humming before. And now we will try and get the stems from these 2 songs. So now they're loading. And here we go. Let's bring in the guitar from the second one over here. Sounds like it starts right here. So let's bring that to the front, kind of line it up. Pretty cool. And I think it works as a great build up. And it kind of gets out. And then it might be a little bit too sudden, so we can actually use the volume effect. It'll kind of bring it down. Bring it back in right there. Now let's check out the track. Here's the intro. You can compare it to the new sample. So it looks like it only really changed the first half, but pretty cool. So it's a pretty fun track. And now kind of what you can do next is export it. And for producers, you can export it in multi-track where you can get each individual instrument where then you can put it into your own DAW like Ableton or Logic or even GarageBand or FL Studio. There's a lot of options there, or you can just export the full song, send it to friends. Honestly, really fun. Loved making this track. I think the best part about Suno is it's really become a tool for non-musicians and musicians. It kind of brings the technical producers and gives them a tool to kind of create new ideas, new styles, kind of play around. And for non-musicians, it allows them to create something that they've never been able to create before. Making music takes a lot of work. You would usually have to learn how to play an instrument, or you have to learn how to produce. And now they can just do it using AI. AI has been making everything cheaper across the board. So seeing it in music is awesome. And Suno has already seen a ton of users across the board. They're already at 100 million annual revenue and reportedly are raising a $2 billion valuation. Musicians are now able to get massive gains. I think that musicians are now going to see massive gains just by using Suno, incorporating into their workflow. I'm going to use it to finish some of my ideas that have kind of been left on the back burner and get new ideas for different sections for some of my songs. Maybe I can try adding new percussion from Suno. And I don't think that Suno is going to replace DAWs like Logic or Ableton, but I do think that there'll be more kind of crossing over between the two to help them get ideas that they can then bring into their final projects. I can see two places where tools like Suno will make a massive impact in the music industry as well. And the first one that comes to mind is score composition. Score composition is kind of the process of creating music for a TV or a movie or commercials. And this is kind of a big industry that not a lot of people think of. And now that process of going back and forth with a musician, kind of iterating, which can take weeks even, and is really expensive, can now be just done in Suno. If I have an idea for a movie, I'll definitely bring it to Suno first and kind of see if I can create a track that I can just use. Something really important to note as well, if you're a paid Suno user, you can actually own the songs and receive a commercial license to monetize them. That said, there is an important caveat. If the AI generates the entire song, then you will not have copyright protection. So definitely keep this in mind when you're playing with tools like this. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I loved making this song for you guys, and let me know in the comments if you've been playing with Suno or have any other tips and tricks.